Hey, everybody. This is Courtney Starhart, and I'm here today to talk to you about how leaky gut can lead to brain fog, and we're going to talk about sprouting. So, super excited to talk about this really poorly understood aspect of nutrition. So, what is this? No, it's not something I use to make hummus. These are actually paperweights, but it's great because you can actually see the process of sprouting going on here. Okay. So, in the plant world, sprouting is everything. You can take beans that are plain and dried and turn them into living vital nutrition. Also, knowing that 80% of America has brain fog because of leaky gut, we can fix that almost overnight. So, I teach about productivity, I teach about mental focus, and I have a four key system that we use to find the force, right? To plug you into high productivity. But it is a four key process. The first part of the process is breath. Everybody breathes. Everybody needs to know how to breathe properly. That's the first one. The second one is talking about the body and talking about the gut brain axis. Your brain is actually directly connected to your gut. There is no mitigating factor, there is no reasoning with it. Whatever is going on in your gut, in that microbiome, is going directly to the brain. So if your gut is unhappy, you're unhappy. If your gut is leaky and it's polluting your bloodstream with all kinds of toxins that don't belong in the blood, that leads to brain fog and more critical conditions eventually, such as Crohn's, IBS, and celiac disease. So let's talk a little bit about beans. I'm so excited. And I want to introduce you to my friends at Rustic Roots Delivery because they are the Mac Daddies of food production on Long Island. They deliver to New York. They deliver all across Queens, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Long Island. All right. So they are absolutely phenomenal. I got to meet the owner the other day. He sent me home with a box of produce. We're going to be making hummus for them, as well as my Southwestern black bean mole. We'll talk about holy moly next time, but today we're talking about sprouting. All right, let's get to it. This is a bean. This is a chickpea. This is a dried chickpea. And these are wonderful because they store so nicely. So, in traditional culture, where I come from the Southwest, in New Mexico, we're so much closer to being sustainable. And the Native American culture is really powerful out there. There's still a lot of oral tradition, there's still a lot of technology that's been lost in the modern world out here, which is why people are so unhealthy, is because they've gotten away from nature. We love beans, we love corn, we love rice because they're all seeds that store very nicely and can be reactivated by sprouting. So let's talk about what happens during sprouting. We saw our little friends here and we saw that. Well, what's happening? With the beans, after 3 or 4 days of being soaked, they start to shoot out a little sprout. In layman's terms, I call it a nubby. So when this little guy gets soaked for a while and is tricked into thinking that it's sprouting into a plant, it grows a katidan, which is the beginning of a sprout. Okay, but what does that actually mean? Like, who cares, right? Why do I care so much about sprouting? Because it completely changes the nature of your food. This right here is the base paste that I produced. Okay, so this is pounds of beans sprouted and pureed. All right, after they've become bioavailable, the nutrition is completely different. I take this paste and then I start adding in all kinds of other things. This is so delicious. This one is the one that I call holy moly. So we take pureed black beans and all of that good stuff, and we mix it in with this basic paste that's been sprouted. All right, this one here I called Beats Me. This is a delicious red color. It's got ginger, lime, and roasted beets. Absolutely delicious and incredibly nutritious. Let's get down to talking about the nutrition. I'm going to pick up my little cheat sheet here and we're going to talk about it. You can read in the article below all about it, but I want to talk a little bit about it because it's important for you to understand what's going on with your gut biome. Serotonin is produced in the gut. all of those different hormones that you need to feel good, to focus, and to be fit, they're produced in the gut. They're not produced in the brain. And how are they produced in the gut? They need certain things in order to thrive. So, when the bean starts breaking down and sprouting, it releases all of the anti-nutrients and the toxins into the water. If you've ever soaked beans, people usually just soak them overnight, not nearly long enough. I soak them for 3 to 4 days and they turn into a completely different animal. As they're soaking and sprouting, they're releasing things into the water. If you've soaked them overnight, you see that weird crud that kind of floats around on the top, right? Those are saponins. They actually used to make soap from the beans, what they release. So literally, it's soapy stuff. Now, that is an anti-nutrient. That and other things that the beans have in their husk, in their shell, are anti-nutrients. See, beans don't have teeth and claws. Beans have phytotoxins, all right? And that's what's causing leaky gut for people, is these things in our food that are anti-nutrients, that are toxic, and they damage the gut lining, creating these little holes, and out of there leaks all of that stuff, literally from your gut into your bloodstream. And people wonder why they're having bad health problems. Think about that. Leaky gut, the silent killer. All right. So, how does living Vital Force change the nutritional value of this hummus? First of all, improved digestibility. Anti-nutrients like phytic acid and lectins, which can interfere with nutrient absorption, are significantly reduced, if not eliminated. 2, enzyme activity. Sprouts contain active enzymes that aid digestion, reducing the gut's workload. So it's nourishing all of that stuff in your gut that produces dopamine and serotonin. Those little bacterium that live in there need a certain kind of nutrition. And when they're not getting it, then they're not producing the stuff that helps you to focus and helps you to be fit. All right. Bioavailability. This is fascinating. Nutrients such as iron, zinc, and calcium become more bioavailable, making them easier for the body to absorb. So, what happens with sprouted beans? They're producing all kinds of B vitamins. What do B vitamins do? They make us feel good, and they're hard to get. They're hard to get in a way that's easily absorbed. So, this is amazing technology, this sprouting. B vitamins, particularly B1, B2, B3, and folate. Vitamin C is completely absent in dried beans, yet it's synthesized during sprouting. You can see that green stuff popping up. So you have bioavailable vitamin C. Vitamin C is one of the few things that we don't produce or can't store in the body. Okay, so you go through vitamin C every day and you need to re up every day on it. All right, next, antioxidants. Increased levels of flavonoids and polyphenols, minerals, enhanced bioavailability of magnesium, iron, and zinc. Now, the phytotoxins in the beans, when they're not sprouted, actually inhibit the absorption of important minerals like magnesium and calcium. That's why people are having trouble with bone density, why they're having problems staying fit and healthy, why people have high levels of stress and anxiety, because all of these things that we're getting from these sprouted plants are incredibly important for stress reduction and for performance. All right. Oh, not to mention, improving protein quality. Essential amino acids, lysine, methionine levels increase protein quality. Fiber, soluble fiber increases, supporting gut health. All right. Enough about the science. Let's talk about how good this tastes. All right. There is no comparison between this junk that we get from the store, and I know I buy it too. I'm sure you do too. Like $4.99. Now, this is going to cost you more, but this is actually toxic for your gut, and this actually nourishes your gut. So you have to ask yourself, oh, you also eat a lot less of this than you do this. Because why? Your body senses that it's getting nourished and it has great nutrition. So I want to announce that in February, we'll be having Finding the Force products at Rustic Roots Delivery. So I'm super stoked to offer that to you. And coming up right away, you can get boxes of produce from these guys that are incredible. He sent me home with a box, a CSA box, that was some of the most delicious produce that I have sampled in the New York area. All right. So it's incredibly important for you to nourish yourself. You can eat less, get less calories, and feel so much better when you're eating the right foods. All right. How can you tell if you have leaky gut? In the article below, there's a whole series of questions for you. So take the test, see if you might be suffering from gut permeability, and understand that you can fix it very easily. Okay, it'll take a little bit of time. You can drink things like kombucha, brew it yourself. We're gonna have a video on that pretty soon. And you can do your own sprouted hummus. So if you don't wanna go through the time, it's 3 or 4 days of rinsing and sprouting. If you don't wanna go through that yourself, remember, we're gonna be producing that for you, delivered to your door from Rustic Roots. And I'm super excited to share this with you. Hope I've covered everything, but if I haven't, it's all in the article below. Okay, thanks guys. Bye for now.